Thomas Young here for Kingdom MMA, and I'm joined here with Daniel Movahedi. Thanks for being here. During your career, you ended up with the nickname The Gentleman. Tell us, how did you end up with that nickname?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on. Pleasure talking to you guys. I actually didn't get that name through my fighting career, through my referee career. It came about through a guy called Ross Lawrence, who you might be well aware of, owner of Impact Fightwear. He just, they were sponsoring me at the time, and they wanted to come up with something, and they come up with The Gentleman, and he thought it reflected the way, I handled myself in the cage with the fighters, etc., and how I came across. So, and I think it reflects well. Well, I hope so anyway. And that's stuck ever since then.
You previously were a fighter. Just
Yeah,
tell us, what was your all-time favourite fight? You've had a few wars.
yeah. All the fights were good. Before I got my first win, I was on eight losses. I always treated fighting more like a hobby back then. Before the sport was, it's still on its prime of coming up the rankings throughout the UK. But my favourite fight has to be against Lloyd Clarkson on Cage Rage Contenders. But yeah, I gave it absolutely everything. It was my first time fighting out of Team Titan. I'd done a good training camp, but obviously the cardio in the tank wasn't enough. And I don't know if you guys seen it, but it gives me a nice left hook and puts me on the canvas.
You actually posted on Facebook a few months ago,
Yeah.
didn't you? And
Yeah.
it was a crazy fight. I mean, Lloyd Clarkson is one hell of a tough guy to put down. I've seen him fight now about 2-3 times, and just there's no putting him away.
I mean, I don't know how he just stands. I mean, I don't know if you saw his fight with there was Darren Stewart when he fought, and he's just eating elbows after elbow, and he's just smiling at him. I mean, the guys, but then when you talk to him, you feel, as a spectator, you might be watching and go, "There's seriously something wrong with this guy." But when you speak to him, he's a very, very humble guy, very nice guy. We're good friends now. Stayed in contact since. But yeah, that has to be one of my favourite fights as well. Even though it was a loss for me. In a way, it was a win because one, it was such a great fight. We gave the crowd what they wanted, and it taught me a lesson I should drop down to 84 kg and work on my cardio.
And what were the biggest highs and the lowest lows of your fighting career? Were there any specifics?
Yeah, I mean the lows obviously sounds it was obviously not winning because actually it wasn't the fact that I wasn't winning, it was the fact that people were telling me, look, give up, you're done, move on, try something else, etc. And I can, I understand that, but they weren't in my head. They don't understand that. I knew it wasn't going to be a career for me. Like it is for some of the fighters today. You've got lots of options, of working your way and actually making a career out of fighting. It's more like a hobby, testing myself, challenging myself, and every loss was a win to me because every time I went back to the drawing board, and yes, I might have lost. I was only that that little bit away from whether it be a mental. Aspect of it or the physical aspect of the sport. I was improving the whole time, and the minute I got that win, I end up in a row. So until I supposedly retired or haven't fought since. So I think that's the highs and that's and they're the lows.
Yeah, and you currently now run Fury MMA, I believe. And how much effort and attention goes into running a promotion like that?
Fury MMA, myself and Steve Doran, is obviously the president of the company. I mean, we set up in 2010. A lot of time does go into it, and a lot of effort does go into it. A lot of behind the scenes people don't get to see. I think we had a documentary out a couple of years ago by the My Images who done a London MMA story, and I think you got to see how much effort does go into it. Credit to anyone who puts an event on. And you do have people who do think it's easy. They don't see the behind the scenes of putting a show on. A lot of effort was going into it, and I think if you didn't do it for the love of it, you wouldn't. It's hard, it's tough, and you got to know the game as well. But yeah, a lot of effort does go into it. But obviously, with the fighters, having good fighters on board, good people around, good support, good family, good friends, it does make it easier.
And later this year, Fury was set to take place at the Forum, but the event had to be postponed, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can explain why.
Yeah.
And then we put a notice out saying they'd been postponed. Yeah, we was meant to be at the forum, but obviously myself and Steve had a little chat and a talk. And Steve's obviously, as you know, he has many businesses. He's setting up a new business, the Peak Performance Academy, which he's concentrating on. I've got other projects that I want to work on, and I've got family. So, and having Fury has opened up other doors for us to, be able to pursue different paths for now for the next couple of months. And, we'll be back in 2016. When? I'm not sure, but we will be back and we'll be rolling again. But right now, obviously, it wouldn't be fair on the fighters or the fans or the MMA industry if we didn't give 100% and we just put a show on for the sake of putting a show on. If we couldn't commit to it, and I felt like, we made the right choice of doing that.
Yeah. And do you still aim to hold Fury at the forum when it returns?
Of course. Either at the forum or another bigger venue. I mean, we've done 2 shows at the O2 Indigo, and as you can imagine, they're always fully booked up, so it's kind of hard to get in there again this year. But yeah, we would like to hold it at forum. Obviously, we've had events like Cage Warriors in there, and it's a great venue. It's a Kentish town, easy to get to. But whether we have it, we've had events at Studio 338, the outdoors events. The main thing is, as long as we have a good fight card, a good atmosphere, I think that's the key. It doesn't matter if you're in a packed Wembley Stadium or you could be in a nightclub, as long as you bring a great card, great atmosphere, something for the fans and for the sport. I think that's what that matters.
So let's go back to the beginning where we talked about you being a referee. Give us a rundown of what you have to do at events beforehand and during.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the events, at the moment, because we haven't got a set governing body, the role of a referee is, especially some events you go to and you're the only guy refereeing there. I mean, ideally you'd want 2 referees there, and depending on the fight card, how many fights you got. But my main job is, as a referee, is safety of the fighters. Making sure all fighters know exactly what rules they're fighting under, whether it be the amateur rules or the pro rules. Making sure they've all got the right equipment, they've got the right gloves, and it doesn't, at the moment, on some of the smaller shows that I referee on as well, you've got to make sure that the promoter knows, what they need, and have they got everything in place, whether it be the right cage, that the cage is safe, whether they've got the right gloves, the fighters are made aware exactly what rule sets they're fighting under, so that it's that, and to get, but my main priority is safety of the fighters inside and outside the cage.
And how much pressure are you under being a referee, knowing that fighters' records and quite possibly careers are in your hands?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that question many times, and my answer is always, I'm not under pressure, because I don't care what records they've got. It's not me who has the outcome of the fight, it's the fighters. So yes, I may step in where a fighter's not defending himself, or he gets caught in an armbar or a submission, but that's obviously that they're doing. My main priority is their safety. So I don't go in there thinking, hey, I know if I've just stopped this fight, oh my God, it's affected this guy's career. No, that's I've stopped this fight because I'm concerned about his safety, or so safety is paramount, and I don't ever go in there under pressure like that. I'm going, I know this guy's career, or if he wins this fight, it's just make or break of him. No, even if I know some of the fighters, because some of the shows that I work on, some of the fighters from other gyms fight on the show, and you do come across fighters that you've refereed against before. I keep it professional. I'm neutral to both fighters. I don't even, think about, I refereed against him last week, and it just goes out the window. So treat everyone the same.
And you've just been announced as Rise of Champions head referee and commissioner.
Yeah.
What can we expect from Rise of Champions? And just explain what you'll be doing at Rise of Champions. Is there any extra responsibilities being head referee?
Yeah, I mean, of course, when Brad Pickett contacted me, he's got a new show on coming the 17th of October. he's got the right idea, and obviously me running Fury as well. You know, he just wanted the trust of having someone who can provide him with good officials. I mean, our judges, a lot of them going on the UKMMA judging course. They're experienced judges anyway. Myself, you know, just got certified by the UKMMA, registered referee. And my job is obviously, you know, just provide the officials, making sure that they have people there who are judging, who've judged before, myself refereeing, and and another referee that will be with me on the night. And yeah, there is no pressure, but I think he just wants to make sure that he's got the right team there at the show. So, you know, you've got experienced referees and experienced judges and experienced guys who are checking the hand wraps, who are checking the cornerman, making sure there's no, everything by the cage side is fine. You know, so he hasn't got to worry about that. So it just takes a little bit of stress of the promoter off his shoulders.
We've seen, you know, the past 2-3 years that European MMA, you know, UKMMA as well, you know, it's grown rapidly. How does this benefit the UK scene?
It benefits it a lot, but only if the events are run well and you've got, you know, you know, as a journalist, you know, I mean, I've seen you for so many events. I mean, some weeks in a month you're covering up to 6-7 events, whether it be from a local show, whether, you know, to Bama or to, to top European shows. Only if it's run well and if it's benefiting the UK MMA. And by that, I mean, not turning up to a show and looking at the fight card and being able to go, okay, everyone I see here, everyone on the left-hand side is going to lose, everyone on the right-hand side is going to win. You should be able to go to an event. Yes, you may have a couple of mismatches, but you should be able to go to an event and really not be able to predict 100% who's going to win. It should be such a back and forth fight, and the talent should be coming out. I mean, you go to some shows where you know, it's from the off, the matchmaking and stuff like that, and it does detriment the sport of MMA, I think, and it's, some people do turn up just to cheer on their friends and to cheer, you know, just seeing people having to tear up in the cage. But you want shows to be able to put on a fight, going there, and ideally you want crowds to be going to watching a show because they love MMA, not because they're there to support a certain one fighter or two fighters. You know, but it definitely, you know, it's coming up in especially in European and in the UK. You know, the talent is definitely coming through 100%. You know.
Yeah, because we're seeing, you know, these new promotions rise. You know, such as Rise of Champions and also on the same night you've got Dean Amasinga's new promotion, Fight UK Championship, I believe it's called, or Fight Championship UK, as well as FCC and Pain Pit. It's a crazy night.
But I mean, again, you know, these are being run by you know, they've been in the game, the guys, you know, and like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a new promotion or old, but you've got some promotions you've never heard of and have been going for 4 or 5 years and put a solid card on all the time, and sometimes they don't get the attention that they deserve because they might just be running it in the sports hall somewhere. But them running in that sports hall, they've got such, especially for the amateur guys or guys who are making their way up to the pro rankings, such good matchmaking, but because they haven't got the glam, the show, the TV, the cameras, they're not getting the attention they need and for the shows to be covered. And you know, it's good to see that you especially Kingdom MMA, going to the smaller shows as well as the bigger shows, and trying to help cover that. You know, getting them exposed to give them more publicity. You know, but shows do come and go. You know, there's room for everyone. There's always a whole thing of like, shows. Yeah, there is room for everybody to do a show. And sometimes some people do a show and go, okay, well, this isn't for me. And you know, it is hard work. You know, and I'm sure anyone who's tried it and still is doing it, they know how hard it is.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the leisure halls, the leisure centres, I've been to a fair amount of shows, you know, held in leisure centres, and every time I've been impressed as how they've turned it around into such a fine sort of spectacle night of fights and the promotion. It just all looks very. It looks the part. I mean, Shinobi, they held their event. Go on.
And exactly, that's the event I was going to say. They're coming up rank, especially for the amateur lot as well. You know, and I think that's important. We need a platform for the amateur. And you've got to think UKMMAF now. You know, they've got the European Championships coming up in November, and you know, they're setting the platform a big thing for the amateur scene for the UK. And you just had the World Championships in Vegas, where you know the British team won some, you know, placed some medals as well. So I think as long as everyone supports the grassroots guys and the amateur levels, because right now you can make a career out of MMA. You know, you've got, you know, that sounds like a cliche, but you've got the UFC, who like the NFL of MMA. You know, they're the big league. So you've got somewhere to go to work towards to have your career for the rest of your life, to get drafted, to get picked, to go and fight for them. Whereas before it was really hard to get into the UFC, but now there's such a global thing, and you know, they've got people looking all over the world and looking for fighters from everywhere, because obviously when they come to Europe, come to the UK, you know, they do want the fighters who've been making noise on the local scenes and on the smaller shows, whether it be for ticket sales or to give them a chance to be in the big league. So I think definitely, you know, in that support is needed.
And finally, what would you change about the UKMMA scene? Is there anything in particular that you change?
If I would change, not that I would change. I'd like to improve. You know, it has improved a lot. You know? Being a ex-fighter as well. You know, I've been to places where I fought, and you know, your change room was shambles. The referee was this. You know, it could go on and on. You hear it all the time. The only thing I'd like to say is that every show is run under the same rules. So if you're fighting professional, you're fighting professional under the same rule everywhere in this country. Not, this show allowed, I don't know, elbows this way, that show didn't have elbows. Or when you fight amateurs, you know, you fight amateur rules, and that is it. One rule across everywhere. Not that because even as a referee, you go to some shows and they go, well, at our show we don't allow this, and you're like, okay, all right, well, that's why. I mean, again, I come back to it, but the UKMMAF and the IMMAF working together of trying to put a rule set down and hopefully making it like a governing body, so that, you know, events can run exactly the same. Whatever event you go to, you know, you've got the right referees, the right commissioners, the right judges, how the events run, you know, and it's been sanctioned, you know, and that's what I'd like to see. You know, that it's run just like in America. You've got a governing body, and you know, in that state or the area you're in, that's the rule sets you're fighting under.
Well, look, it's been brilliant to pick your brain. You know,
likewise.
You've done everything in the UK scene. You know, running a promotion. You know, being a fighter, referee. You've done the whole lot. You know, so it's great to finally.
There's more to come. There's more to come. Like I said, 2016 is going to be a big year. You know, I have goals and ambitions. Just want to say thank you to you guys and to everyone who supported me. And you know, just like I said, keep supporting the UKMMA scene, and you know, big things will happen. You know.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Really appreciate that.